Luo Feng looked at the materials of the 10 Directions world form in front of him. The golden scale beetle corpse was given to him by his master Emperor Chu. The other biological materials were obtained from the world he guarded. The 10 Directions world form that I realized is different from them. Luo Feng was a little amazed. These materials of the 10 Directions world form come from different creatures, so naturally there are some differences. Then what material should I choose to construct this form? Luo Feng pondered. According to the description of the inheritance of world life form, only the 10 Directions world form of the form is only half done. We still need to study the origin of matter and find out the material suitable for the 10 Directions world form. Only by combining the two can we form a powerful life form. For those who have only comprehended the great Tao of the origin of life, such as the Snow Realm ancestor, their life forms are no less than the 10 Directions world form, but because they are condensed with pure divine power, their power is much weaker. Luo Feng can still imitate it with his invisible and formless ability. Give it a try. Luo Feng tried to change. It takes the 10 Directions world form as its foundation and uses the materials of the chaotic origin bloodline creatures as a reference for changes. Phew, wow. Countless divine powers are transforming. The previous form was at most 1.8 trillion particles, but the 10 Directions world form is a world in itself, without any restrictions. Luo Feng understood this after comprehending the inheritance. Theoretically, as long as one can control one's own soul and mind and will, the life forms in the 10 Directions world form can be infinitely large. Soon, Luo Feng referred to the 7 materials and transformed into 7 clones. These 7 substances are all very suitable for the 10 Directions world form. In terms of compatibility, the Silver Mountain Beast King has the highest degree of compatibility. Luo Feng was certain after just a little feeling. In fact, these are the 10 Directions world form creatures naturally bred and reproduced by the chaotic origin bloodline. Of course, their material composition is more perfect. Luo Feng began to change. His divine power continued to conversion. As the number of transformations increased, Luo Feng became more skilled, but it still took him nearly half a day on the origin continent to completely transform the divine body. The divine body has been completely transformed, but I can still control my soul and willpower. In the already huge and majestic Star Tower, Luo Feng felt quite relaxed. The soul is like an army. The larger the soul, the greater the number of troops. The willpower is like the commander of an army. A strong commander can make the army burst out with super combat power, can weaken the army. To control a strong body, the soul and willpower are all important. Keep accumulating. At this moment, the miniature universe far away in his home world is continuously transmitting divine power to the chaotic space in his body. In the chaotic space, the divine power is also constantly transforming into the power of the 10 Directions world form, allowing himself to continue to grow. When you reach this level, the size of your body depends on your own path. Luo Feng understood this. The God Kings attach great importance to the infinite divine body because it represents the foundation. The size of the miniature universe depends on the foundation. Luo Feng's perfect divine body, his miniature universe, is the largest allowed by the supreme rules. As for the infinite divine body, the miniature universe is also inferior. If it is a weaker divine body, the miniature universe will be smaller. The corresponding chaotic space in the body will also be much smaller when it evolves into a miniature universe in the future, and the soul it naturally nurtures will also be smaller. The foundation determines the size of the miniature universe, the foundation of the divine body, and the foundation of the soul. Of course, the foundation of the divine body and the foundation of the soul can be changed through practice. If you practice this soul path, you can naturally strengthen your soul, but this path is difficult. 99% of the God Kings are naturally growing souls. If the divine body foundation wants to change, it also needs to cultivate the physical body. The origin of life is the best. For example, the ancestor of the Snow Realm, all the rivers and snowflakes in the entire Snow Realm are part of his body. Only when you reach this stage of cultivation can you begin to transcend the foundation of the divine body. Luo Feng felt that after the divine body was completely transformed, an invisible force gathered in the chaotic space. As a perfect divine body, Luo Feng's chaotic space is vast enough and strong enough. At this moment, the chaotic space began to naturally generate the world as invisible forces gathered. The next inner world, in the natural world. This is the world life form. Luo Feng feels it all. In the 10 Directions world form, each basic unit of life contains a small world. The huge body formed by countless life units has an extremely rich world power, so it is natural to open up a complete world. Obviously, the chaotic space in the body is the most suitable. The power of the endless world gathers in the huge physical body, and the small world continues to grow. Go out and take a look. Feeling that the small world was stable, Luo Feng's real body walked out of the Star Tower, gathered his strength, and quietly left Chu City. Luo Feng's body naturally blended into the world. as if he had become a part of it. In just a few breaths, he had arrived in Huyang City. The world life forms are traveling so fast, Luo Feng exclaimed. Although it didn't reach the level of some terrifying existences that could descend to a certain place with a single thought, Luo Feng was still somewhat amazed that he had arrived at Huyang City from the border of the flame-wind ancient kingdom in just a few breaths. This is much faster than before. My small world can naturally reflect the outside world. Luo Feng stood above Huyang City. The small world naturally reflected the outside world and could reflect an extremely vast area. 3 chaos states. Luo Feng confirmed. Luo Feng was amazed by the vast scope of the small world in his body. Every chaos state was extremely vast, and a large city was just an inconspicuous part of a chaos state. One should know, even a second-rate kingdom usually has only dozens of chaos states. For example, a third-rate kingdom usually has a total territory of only about 10 chaos states. Luo Feng's world can reflect the area of 3 chaos states, so one can imagine how terrifying it is. Within the world's reflection range, I can use the power of the world to wipe out the enemy with a single thought. My current strength is only close to the invincible first-level God King, but I have such a method. What about those second-level God Kings, or even the ultimate God Kings? Luo Feng understood more and more clearly. No wonder the world beasts at the ultimate God King level can cause a catastrophe of annihilation. The first-level God King is invincible and is also tacitly regarded as the overlord of the origin continent. The reserves of divine power of a true first-level God King far exceed mine. If they could cultivate into world life forms, their power would only become even greater. This is why Luo Feng believed that he was nearly invincible at the first-level God King level. But, at this moment, he is also absorbing energy continuously, and the miniature universe in his hometown is also transmitting energy, and his body is still growing. He believes it won't take too long before he can reach the invincible of first-level God King. I still need to get familiar with my body and explore its many abilities. Luo Feng's real body instantly entered the Huyang Town Defense Headquarters. As a practitioner of the origin of life, he has many clones, and the importance of the real body and the clones is not much different. As long as there is a trace of power left, he can cultivate it back. Relatively speaking, treasures like the Star Tower are more important. After hearing so many examples of those second-level God Kings being attacked and killed by the 2 ancient kingdoms, Luo Feng did not dare to take out the Star Tower until he had studied it thoroughly. Although he can be called a hegemon today, he still has to be low-key in front of the 2 ancient kingdoms. According to the special inheritance of World Life Form, I am only just getting started with World Life Form. The more Luo Feng learned, the more humble he became. According to the description in the inheritance, the bodies of the chaotic origin life outside the cage are even comparable to those of an origin world. Compared with such an existence, he is as small as an ant. At least I have taken the first step. Luo Feng continued to retreat and familiarize himself with his many sword skills. Xiangjie City. How long do you plan to stay in Polu City this time? Ma Yuqingyan asked his wife Zhang Yungu. I don't know. Zhang Yungu said. Don't know? Ma Yuqingyan was stunned. Zhang Yungu explained. I have the opportunity to become a disciple of the God King Polu. This is a great opportunity for me. Of course I must seize the opportunity and go to Polu Mountain to practice. Only by practicing in Mount Polv can I have the opportunity to receive guidance from the master frequently. If I stay in Xiangjie City, when can I get guidance? That's not what I meant. Ma Yuqingyan said, I hold an important position in Xiangjie City, and I can't leave for a long time. If you stay in Polu City for a long time, won't we be separated forever? We are all cultivators. There is nothing we can't bear to be separated for a short period of time, Zhang Yungu said. Or, you can keep an incarnation of divine power for the competition, Ma Yuqingyan said. Cultivate requires concentration and not distraction. Zhang Yungu said, when I feel it's time to come back, I will come back. Ma Yuqingyan looked at Zhang Yungu, feeling unhappy. My divine incarnation will accompany you there? In Polu Mountain, you, the incarnation of divine power, have been accompanying me all the time. What's that like? Besides, I am concentrating on cultivation, so I can't accompany you. Zhang Yungu said with a smile. Well, the path of cultivation is like this. You have to focus when you need to. You and I have average talents, and if we don't focus, there will be no hope of making further progress in the path of cultivation. After saying this, Zhang Yungu said goodbye and left. Ma Yuqingyan watched silently. Even an incarnation of divine power is unwilling to be distracted. His parents have a good relationship and have 3 children. The same is true for his eldest brother and third brother. All of them have wives and children. Ma Yuqingyan originally thought that he should get married and have children. Only, his wife, Zhang Yungu, takes the path of cultivation very seriously. Qingyan, I've said it before, emotions will affect your practice. Morosa appeared at the side and said with a smile, Look, Yunguo is very decisive. She doesn't want to have children. She wants to focus on cultivation. She doesn't even want to leave her divine incarnation behind. She also wants to focus on practice. She wants to seize the opportunity and practice wholeheartedly. Luo Feng was concentrating on retreat and didn't pay attention to his apprentice. But Morosa has been observing and paying attention to the development of his apprentice's feelings. Emotions can affect cultivation? Ma Yu Qingyan shook his head. My father and my brothers don't have that. Isn't that what Yungu did? Cut off distracting thoughts, practice with one heart, and eliminate all interference. Morosa said leisurely. How can't I have both love and spiritual practice? Ma Yu Qingyan didn't believe it. Some time passed again. Ma Yu Qingyan went to Polo City in person and came to Polo Mountain. Lord Ma Yu, junior sister Zhang, is competing with other fellow disciples. A disciple on Mount Polu warmly welcomed her and guided her along the way. Ma Yu Qingyan also saw it. Seeing Zhang Yungu and 5 other fellow disciples competing with each other, Zhang Yungu was naturally much weaker in terms of strength, but the other fellow disciples also gave him face and controlled their power. Why are you here? Zhang Yungu saw Ma Yu Qingyan came over with a smile. Since you don't go back, I have no choice but to come here. Ma Yu Qingyan said. Zhang Yungu smiled and explained. This is indeed the place where the God King practices. The disciples are all excellent. Many of them are much stronger than me. I have gained a lot from competing with them. Practicing here is much better than in Xiangjie City. I believe Qingyan, you understand me. Did the God King Polu give you any guidance? Ma Yu Qingyan asked. Not yet. Zhang Yungu said, no one knows when the master will show up. We need to rely on luck. Maybe after a while, the master will give us some guidance. Ma Yu Qingyan looked at her. When do you plan to go back? Why are you rushing me? Zhang Yungu looked at Ma Yu Qingyan and his face changed. This is my master's place. It's such a great opportunity to become a disciple of the God King. Why are you blocking my opportunity? I came here just to make sure. If you want to focus completely on your practice and don't want to be disturbed by emotions, and don't want to be disturbed by me. Ma Yu Qingyan looked at Zhang Yungu, then I don't want to be disturbed by you either. Zhang Yungu was stunned. Tell me your decision, said Ma Yu Qingyan. I will not give up on the path of cultivation. Zhang Yungu looked at Ma Yu Qingyan and said calmly, this is the greatest opportunity for cultivation I have ever had since I was born. No one can stop me, Qingyan. You should know my choice. I guessed it, but I just want a clear answer. Ma Yu Qingyan turned around and left. That's it. Let's part ways now. Zhang Yungu watched Ma Yu Qingyan leave, but did not say anything to try to keep him. Cultivators should gather when necessary and disperse when necessary. In the ordinary days before, Ma Yu Qingyan was a good destination. But now she is a disciple of the God King, and that is a path she is more persistent on. Emotions will only affect me. Zhang Yungu thought to herself and turned to walk towards her fellow disciples. Master. Morosa transmitted the message telepathically. Luo Feng was immersed in the study of life forms and responded. Morosa, what happened? Master, you don't care about your disciple. Your disciple has completely broke up with that Zhang Yungu. Morosa said excitedly. Broke up? Luo Feng was surprised. As a master, I am indeed not very responsible. I have only met Zhang Yungu a few times. I felt something was wrong for a long time. Qingyan was tormented by her, and his mind was unsettled. This time I went to Mount Polu and found that it was just as I expected. They really broke up? Morosa said happily. It's a good break. It's just a little emotional test. Luo Feng smiled and didn't take it too seriously. He continued to focus on his own practice. My practice is at a critical moment. You should worry more about Qingyan's affairs. Okay, leave it all to me. Morosa didn't need to spend time on cultivation and was very bored, so he naturally kept his attention on Ma Yu Qingyan.